Okay, continuing with the article, the city's response was to declare a 120-day ban on rock concerts, befitting the great American liberty and freedom in which us old-timers were so fortunate to have experienced back in 1975. Note below how the journal's emphasis changes from gunfire the day after to discharged tear gas that sent about 4,000 rock fans stampeding for the exits 2 months later. So that's the part that I remember, is stampeding towards the exits. So as you can see in the article, changes were considered. One was putting a fence around the property, some modifications and so forth, but ultimately the Civic Auditorium was torn down. And in the last paragraph, you can see the politics. My concern is that we have done everything possible within whatever time span to make sure this won't happen again. How many times have we heard that with different stories, different matters? Eventually, the problems of Grand Funk Railroad, rock music, overzealous Great American Police, and much else led the city/St. Joseph's to close/demolish Civic Auditorium and eventually mostly turn it into another blessed part of our great America, automobile storage. I don't know what that means. And then jumping to the second paragraph, St. Joseph's Hospital, which bought the auditorium from the city 5 years ago, eventually will tear it down to make room perhaps for a 6 to 10-story hotel along I-25. The city has rejected the hospital's offer of a month-to-month lease on the auditorium. So isn't that interesting, looking back at history? Now it's a heart hospital. And there's an aerial view of it. You see right there? It was a circular auditorium. There's the parking lot. Here is St. Joseph's Hospital. So yeah, this whole area is now a heart hospital, an emergency room, which 50 years later I have visited or been admitted for a heart attack. Who knew, right? Here's the point that blows me away. Today, there's just a small marker commemorating the life and death of Civic Auditorium near its old site. I don't know exactly where this is, but as one classmate said, I was a part of history. Built 1955, demolished 1986. And the final two paragraphs kind of wrap it up. It is interesting to consider how attendees, police, newspapers, and we as Burqueños would have acted/reacted today in 2024 to anything like what happened during the Grand Funk Railroad Riot of 1975. It is also interesting to ponder how economics, music, policing, and social interaction have changed in ways that might likely make such a riot, generally impossible these days. I'm not sure I agree with that. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. It's just the way it is. I do like that comment. We're getting closer to our home, but it's not the house we grew up in. So in 1975, I took a lot of risk, did a lot of risky stuff, could have gotten into much trouble, could have gotten injured, and now 50 years later, I'd like to believe that I am a much wiser and contributing member of society. I had forgotten all about this night until recently. Me and some classmates from the class of 78 from Highland High School started conversing about various rock concerts in the 70s. Thanks for tuning in and for enjoying a little bit of Albuquerque history.